Hey y'all. So y'all know I told y'all we live, right? Like live. I know y'all are joining me from the other side of the screen, but my guests and I are live today, so we don't have to wait for them to come into the room, but I am waiting for you to come in the room because we don't want to talk to ourselves, we want to talk to y'all. So go ahead, check in with your green heart so that I know you're here. Go ahead and share this live on your Facebook page, share it in your family groups, share it with your friends, share it everywhere where you know people need to know about financial literacy. If you're tired of folks texting you, asking you for $20 till next week, if you're tired of let me hold some, put them in this group. You ain't got to tell them what it's for, just put them in here. All right? So share this live on your page, share it with your friends, share it in your inbox, share it on your messenger, share it everywhere people are that need to know about financial literacy. We're going to check in. Again, tonight is different, right? I'm live. I feel kind of fancy. You know, a little Oprah or somebody, you know what I'm saying? We in the studio, guys. We live right here for Mental Health Mondays. I'm telling y'all, when I opened the door a year ago on this program, I had no idea what it would grow into, but I am proud of everything that it is and everything it's going to be. So thank you to everybody that continue to check in on Mondays. Again, check in with your green heart so that we'll know that you are here. It is 8:05 p.m. Central Standard Time. You know what that means? We are live in the light room. If this is your first time, welcome. I hope this is not your last time here in the light room on Mental Health Mondays. I am Marquita Dorsey, your mental health advocate and coach. I know you can see him, but act like you can't see him, because I haven't told you how I met him, and it ain't time for him to introduce himself. So just talk to me right quick, right? So check in with your green hearts. Let me know that you're here. Go ahead and set the room up, because listen, we're live, right? We're live in the studio. We made it to the studio, guys. So go ahead and fill the room up in the studio. And we're going to get ready for Mental Health Monday. Share this live on your Facebook page. Share it in your messenger groups. Share it with your friends. Save it for later, because we're going to talk about some real good information here. There you go. Check in. Let me know that you're here. School is starting. The summer is almost gone, right? July is coming to a near end. August will be here for you know it. School uniforms, school clothes, paper, all that good jazz, right? Are you ready? Right? Summer vacation. You probably got one more week, couple more weekends, summer vacation. Are you ready? Okay? Christmas is coming up. You know, Thanksgiving is coming up. All those holidays where we spend a lot of money. Are you ready? Right? Well, if you're not ready, you should be ready after tonight, okay? So go ahead again, share this live. Right, hey Chandria, share this live. Go ahead and get your people on here so we can talk about financial literacy. And y'all know how I feel about these buzzwords and cliches. Like I tell y'all all the time. There go my mama, I don't know where you been, you're late. Mental health is beyond a buzzword, okay? Not everybody has a mental illness, but we all have mental health. And we want to make sure that we have good mental health. And there are several ways to make sure, I see you, baby. There are several ways to make sure you have good mental health. And one of those ways is to check in on Mondays for Mental Health Monday, right? And y'all know, if your money ain't right, your mind ain't right, okay? So that's why for the month of July, we're only having one live, right? I hope y'all are reading the post when I'm putting them out there. Only one live this month. Why? Because my birthday is coming, okay? My birthday is coming. So I'm going to be celebrating with my people. I'm going to be traveling. I'm going on a brunch tour for the 40th. Okay, shout out to 40. You know what I'm saying? I'm going on a brunch tour. Memphis, I'll see you next week. San Antonio, I'll see you this weekend. Mississippi, I'll see you thereafter. But that's not what we're talking about tonight. And that's been budgeted for. All right, Mr. John, I don't want him to fuss at me. You know, it's in my budget. Because I told y'all I'm in the Dave Ramsey class too, right? I'm going to call my intentional spending plan. Because budget make me nervous a little bit, all right? Go ahead and share this live. Get your people in here. Go ahead and share it on your page. Drop those green hearts so we know that you're in here. So I call mine an intentional spending plan. You know, keep down the anxiety, right? Because when you think about how much money you got to spend and how much money you really have, the two don't always go together, right? You want to spend this much, but you only have this much. Bank account be like, where you going to get that from? But we work it out, right? Because I'm turning 40. All right, so it's 8:10. That's my intro. Share the live. We are live, right? Mom, look, we made it to the studio, girl. We live in the studio. Check in. So, y'all know how we do in the light room. I'm going to tell you how I met the guests, and then I'll allow the guests to introduce themselves. And guess what? We're in the same room, y'all. There you go. I don't think you know how hype this is, right? We're in the same room. The light room is growing, and that's the goal. Educate, empower, and equip. You see what's happening here, right? This is our first of many in-studio sessions where me and the guests are sitting in the same room, okay? This stuff is relatable. This stuff is applicable. This is for you, okay? I know you've seen talk shows, TV shows, you know, who met Oprah? I haven't met her yet. But you've met me, right? Or you can meet me. And if you live in San Antonio, you can meet Mr. John. So the content that we provide here is something that you can use right now, okay? And I know when it comes to money, people get all anxious, get all nervous, and get a little tight, but don't do that. Get you a pen, get you some paper, take notes, all right? So I met Mr. John, all right? One day I came over to the Moed Center. That's here in San Antonio, Texas. I was doing the Street Talk podcast with Mr. Vincent D. Webb. Check him out if you're in San Antonio, or if you're on the Facebook live space, check out Mr. Vincent D. Webb, Street Talk podcast. So I was doing his podcast, and I ran into Mr. John and his team member. And you know me, right? I'm always scouting for people to come into the light room. Not just people, but people who look like us, right? People who look like us to come and support us. It's not to exclude anybody, but it's to make sure that we are included in the things that we need to get us to the next step. Educate, empower, and equip. All right? And so I walked out the door and I was like, you know, first of all, Mr. John got an iPhone, okay? He got an iPhone. Try to be fancy with his little iPhone. Right. They had the little so they have the little link bracelet. Fancy now. See, this is stuff you can get when you get your money right. So they had the little link bracelet, right? So I could tap my phone on the bracelet and download his card. But he had an iPhone. It didn't work. But his teammate had an Android. So we got right in there. That's okay, Mr. John.
That's all right. That's all right.
So that's how I met him, you know. We connected, you know, even though it was a little struggle. And I'm just telling you, Apple people, you know, God loves us Android users, okay? We'll put a good word in for y'all. But that's how I met Mr. John Martin here. And I'm going to let him introduce himself to y'all. Y'all let me know if y'all can hear us or not hear us. I think I'm pretty clear. But let me know in the comment. But that's how I met Mr. John. I'm going to let him introduce himself. You tell him whatever you want to know.
Okay. Well, my name again is John Martin. I am the owner of Bear Wealth Solutions Financial Education Center here in San Antonio, Texas. We have a team of people who are dedicated to basically impacting the community. My team and I, we have joined the national campaign to educate the United States. We're trying to educate 30 million people by the year 2030, and so we and a whole host of people who are part of World System Builders curriculum around financial literacy education are part of a group called World Financial Group that helps people with a host of solutions, partnering with different companies throughout the country to help people meet their financial needs.
Now let me tell y'all something. Y'all know I don't let anybody sit in the chair, right? So if they're in the chair, it's quality content. It's valuable information. You know you don't come to the light room without pen and paper, right? So go ahead and get your pen and paper. Take these notes. I know you're tired of struggling. I know you're tired of hoping, wishing, and praying that the lights don't get turned off, the rent don't get paid. Listen, you can be in control. Okay, good. You can be in control of your own finances, right? And when we talk about financial literacy, right, in your opinion or in your professional expertise, what is financial literacy?
Basically, financial literacy is understanding how money works. We live in a capitalistic society, and the language of that society is money. And so understanding how to speak money, understanding how money moves through the system, and understanding how to develop a strategy and a plan to benefit the most from the money you're earning, how to put it into vehicles and so forth to make it grow. So literacy is about understanding that language. You know, when we talk about regular literacy, we talk about being able to read. Basically, you put letters together to form words. You put words together to form sentences. You put sentences together to make paragraphs to make pages, chapters, books, libraries, right? Same thing is true with financial literacy. Understanding the basic principles of money, how interest works, how taxes works, how inflation works, how various different assistance programs that are part of the national conversation like Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, how are all those things part of a larger conversation? Embedded within that conversation is, how do you manage your income? How do you manage and budget your money to cover your expenses? How do you acquire assets to build net worth? And then ultimately, how do you mitigate or limit liabilities that might otherwise impact your ability to save? And you do that all in the context of growing wealth, so that you not only can take care of yourself in the moment, but you're taking care of yourself down the road, and ultimately you're passing on generational wealth. And so we do all of that through the language of money, through financial literacy.
You know, Mr. John, they said money ain't everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, money ain't everything. You need this, you need that. Money is good, but money ain't everything.
Mm-hmm.
Is it? Because the way you just explained this, money, it may not be everything, but
Right.
it's definitely something.
Right. Well, it's part of it. So happiness should not be tied to money, but we know that navigating the society that we're a part of, you need to have that tool, you need to have that resource. Depending on the amount of access you have to it, depending on the amount of that resource you have, determines your happiness a lot. Because as you were talking about earlier, if your money's not right, you can struggle emotionally as a result of that. Kids have needs, and you want to meet your kids' needs, and you're limited on your resources. That causes some type of emotional anxiety oftentimes, and sometimes it leads to other issues related to your health, around your mental stability and so forth. So it is not the only thing. It's just a significant part of how we build our happiness. There are people who don't have any money who are perfectly happy, but those of us who choose to engage in this system called capitalism, and those of us who choose to build our wealth and build our family, our family prosperity in it, we have to understand money, and money is a critical part of that.
Money is a critical part of that. Now, you said a couple of words that I just want to take a little time and dive into. Wealth is one. Prosperity is another. I'm black. You know, I don't know if you noticed, but I'm black.
Yes.
And I come from black church, black culture, and even that has gotten a stigma, right? Prosperity.
Right.
Prosperity gospel. There's so much tainted thoughts and ways when it comes to money. And I personally believe that has hindered a lot of believers from being able to maneuver through the system that you're talking about, because I know when we leave here, we'll go to the heavenly place where we don't have to worry about money. But while we're here, we have to worry about money. So how do we begin to, because you said y'all want to educate 30 million people in 30 years, by 30 years?
And by the year 2030.
By year 2030. So how do we, as it relates to education, like how do we start to transform those mindsets? Because I'm good Southern Baptist.
Yeah.
And, you know.
Yeah. So think of it this way. As members, I'm a man of faith. I'm a Christian. And as kingdom builders, you have to have resources to build God's kingdom. You have to fuel the church in order for the church to do its mission. So if you're part of any contemporary church, particularly African American churches, there's a food ministry. There's a social justice ministry. There's an outreach ministry. There's a seniors ministry. There's a homeless ministry. There's all kinds of ministries. Well, again, that church exists in a capitalistic system, and in order to provide those resources to those communities, ultimately its members, it has to have financial stability. Now, there's a lot of opportunities for churches as nonprofits to get philanthropic support from big companies and organizations, but what we know as Christians is part of our tithing obligation, right? Is to pay into the church so that the church can do that work in that business. And we are fueling those ministries through our financial stability, our financial means. And so money is definitely part of that. Prosperity, there's nothing wrong with being prosperous.
Nothing. Right?
And prosperous is oftentimes a reflection of good decision making. It's often a reflection of hard work, and it's often a reflection of proper planning. And so all of those things are tenets in Scripture. Scripture does not tell us to necessarily be poor. It is intended for us to do our, tithing is the 10% of your earning, right? So the better we do, the better we are able to tithe. And so I don't think that we need to be afraid of prosperity as a faith-based community. We just need to understand the blessing of it. My team and I, we talk a lot about how God provides for us. God gives us provision, and those provisions are then used to help with the kingdom building, right? And so we have a very faith-driven team. We understand our mission, we understand our purpose, and we know that this conversation will fuel the community and really break some of those thought processes.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it's intended to be limited, because we are all taught the abundance of God, right?
Yeah.
To not limit God by our own vision and our own understanding. And so when we say that we can't, or we shouldn't, or we won't, we limit the possibility that God has to use us as part of the kingdom and to impact the lives of people who would otherwise not know him.
Now, so if you needed an explanation, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you needed an explanation and your pastor didn't do it too well, or maybe you heard whatever, listen, put this on save, go back and watch it again, because that's good. Okay? That's good. You know, the more you give, the more he gives to you. And again, I'm with that. I don't see a life where I would just want money just to keep it to myself. One of the reasons I would love to have a lot of money and be rich and be resourceful, I have a big family, you know, and I'm a Grammy 2 times, right? Shout out to Grammy Tank and Grammy Yam. So I'm a Grammy 2 times, and I want to be able to, number one, catch a flight, right? Because my babies live in Tennessee and Mississippi. I want to be able to catch a flight. I want to be able to give to people who are wherever they are in life, but they need it. If I have something that God has blessed me with, there's no reason for me not to give to somebody else who needs it, you know? So when it comes to, again, prosperity, and I don't know if I could have said it in a better way, or any preacher could have said it in a better way. So thank you for educating, if you will, in the realm of prosperity. We don't have to be afraid to be prosperous, right? We serve an abundant God. You know, the greater works, greater is he that's within me. You know, all those things that scripture tell us. But then when it comes to counting that money, when it comes to being able to have the life that we can have, we get scared.
Right.
We get so scared, Mr. John.
Yeah. Well, you know, a lot of times it's wanting to do the right thing, right? So we as part of the faith community, we're taught to sacrifice. Right, that's a critical part of our experiences as Christian people in particular. But I think all faith practices are taught to sacrifice. And you hear about God's ultimate sacrifice in Jesus, right? Yeah. You hear about, throughout the Bible, all the stories talk about sacrifice. And I think that there's a lot of ways that you can apply that idea, that moral compass within the context of building wealth for your family. Because it's not a matter of whether or not to do it, it's how to do it. And it's having the right spirit and right mindset about it. So you want to avoid the hoarding and greediness of it, more so embrace I can contribute at a higher level if I participate fully in this economy, in this system that I'm a part of. You don't have to reject it. But I think that sometimes when you go in and you are bold in your faith, and intentional about your approaches and things like that, the result will be building kingdom, and it will be shedding light on people that God is present everywhere, and that the people who would be part of his mission and are aligned with his will create opportunities. We'll start impacting our community in a way that's intended. But you have to have resources to do that. You
have to have resources.
Yeah.
We have to have money. You know, and again, I don't remember the moment I realized, you know, that true, to be a believer and to be able to make an impact. Because, you know, when you have money in this society, in this economy, you can maneuver. You can make some changes. Your voice can be heard. Your face can be seen. Some things can change because you have money, because money gives you access. Right? And so a lot of times believers can't show up as lights of the world because we don't have the resources to give us access.
Right.
And so with the financial literacy, as we take it back to that, what do you say to those of us who feel like, you know, I'm already this far, not me, I'm already this far in debt, right? Like, this probably not going to work for me.
Right. So it's never too late to learn. And no situation is insurmountable if you give yourself enough time, you're willing the discipline to work on it, and then take advice from people who know.
Take advice from people who know.
You know, one of the things that I share with people is that you can go to a gym and work out and effectively achieve your fitness goals. But if you work with a trainer, what happens is that you can do it faster. They will give you insight and information on better techniques And so you might be able to not only do it faster, but do it with better results and ultimately fulfill your goals. So getting information, talking to people who know what they're talking about is part of any success plan.
Yeah.
It's part of any success plan, yeah.
I definitely agree with that. So what are some tools? Like, what are some tools that people can use now to start, as it relates to financial literacy, to start seeing more of an economic impact in their own house first, so that they can go out and give and be a blessing?
So what we always talk about in our curriculum is starting with a proper foundation, right? Understanding how to protect the income that you have coming in, protect your family against loss, and protect yourself from long life, right? So when you live a long time, do you have the resources in place for that? So it's understanding that, having a strong financial foundation. The other part is understanding how money moves through the economy and the system. Understanding that if you have a credit card and you're carrying credit card debt, what does that really mean? What does the interest rate on your credit card debt really do to you financially? Is it necessary? Same thing with home loans, same thing with car loans. Is your money that you're saving and investing performing for you at a rate better than you're paying out in interest? And once you understand the language around interest, you'll understand how to position your money as part of a financial strategy. But then you'll look at the way that you spend money. You look at the things that you spend money on. And so one of the tools is a budget. People talk about
intentional spending plan.
Okay, an intentional spending plan. Once you develop a financial goal, right, then you can establish a financial strategy. How are you going to get there? And then every dollar that you make has a name on it. It has a place to go. It has a job.
Yeah.
And what we talk about here is that we want people to have their $100 bills having babies. And there are ways and tools that you can use, resources that you have access to that can do that. Another thing is understanding risk. Understanding how comfortable you are or uncomfortable you are with risking your principal, right? A lot of people like to put their money in a savings account, right? It's safe, right? You put it in a savings account, you have FDIC insurance on it, you put up to $100,000 in an account, and it's there should something happen. But you make next to nothing on it in interest. Now you can you go to ATM, pull your money out whenever you want, look at it, put it back in, whatever you want to do.
That's true.
But you're paying a lot of fees and a lot of service fees to have your money there. So, but it's safe for them. Yeah. You have people who like to put money in stock. Your guy, Dave Ramsey, he's a big stock market person. Yeah. And so, but in the stock market, your principal is at risk. Yeah. And not only is your principal at risk, they charge you fees to have your money in the stock market. The other thing is, outside of your employee-based 401k and retirement savings plans, if you are going with an investment firm, many of them, if you don't have $250,000 or more, they won't even talk to you.
They won't even talk
so you don't even have access to it if you have less than $250,000. So understanding how your money can be placed and how it can be used to your benefit. Understanding, in our case, how insurance works.
Come on, insurance.
What is insurance and how does it benefit your family? What are the different types of insurance? And how does your strategy require you to place your money in that kind of a protection strategy? You know?
I'm going to take a deep breath, right? Because again, even I get a little anxious when it comes to money, especially in this level of the conversation. Now, had I been talking about money at this rate from maybe 7th grade to now, it'd be an easy feat. Like me and John would be up here discussing things that even I would know about. But we haven't, right? We're having to start over. We're having to go back around. We're having to understand from a place of fear, a place of trauma, because you have things like payday loans,
right?
The pawn shop,
right?
Loan sharks. Is that still a thing?
Maybe. I mean, some communities, I'm sure.
Yeah, loan sharks, which may be the payday loan.
And sometimes it can be your family.
Or sometimes it can be your fam.
Yeah.
But people are just in this anxious place, like, and you think that's because of a budget? You think that's because of, like, the foundation is not good?
Well, it's just really understanding, right? So, and this is why it's important to to have a basic knowledge and understanding of money, so that when you're looking at the dollar you have in your hand, you know what to do with it. When you're considering places to go to get money, you're also going to think about what that means, right? And so when you talk about all of these points of access, I think a lot of people want what they want right now. Sometimes it's centered around a need, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's centered around a need, and there's a way to rescue people who are not meeting their needs. And so, but again, it starts with learning. What we have seen happen with people is when they first do what we call a personal financial strategy, it's like a financial wellness check, right? When they first do it, we've had people cry. One, they cried because they didn't know it was so bad.
Yeah.
Two, they cried because they didn't know this for such a long time. But on the other side of that, they cry when they find out there's something they can do about it. They cry when they find out there's something they can do, because it's not as dire as it seems sometimes.
Yeah.
And what we do is we try to work with our clients to show them, okay, here's where you want to go. Here's where you are right now. Let's chart a course to get to where you want to go from here. I met with a client one time, and he bought a new house. He had this expensive car. We did his personal financial strategy. The end of the meeting, he was like, okay, I see what I need to do. That guy on Saturday sold his car, turned his car in, got a lower car payment, which ultimately lowered his insurance payment, and he found an additional $400, $500 in his budget just by that one decision.
Wow.
Because he understood how that decision would impact his ultimate goal, which is to make sure that he did not lose his house.
Wow.
And so we do things like that through conversation. We do a lot of listening and trying to understand what the client is trying to do. And then we put all of our knowledge, skills, abilities, we tap into our other team members, other resources to help that person achieve that goal.
Wow.
Yeah.
Listen, y'all, we've learned so much, and there's so much we still have to learn, and that's absolutely fine, right? Because we have people like Mr. John Martin here now who are, growing in the knowledge, who are deep in the trenches, learning what they need to learn so they can teach us. And that's what I love about the way things have changed, the way things have transitioned. I know a lot of things are still the same, but we're going to focus on the things that are changing. And what has changed for us is that now we can be educated, we can be empowered, and we can be equipped, right? Like he just said, sometimes it's simply a conversation. And that's why, again, these Mental Health Mondays are so important, because some people have never heard the information that come across some of these lives. Some people have never sat down and did an intentional spending plan, aka a budget. Some people have never really sat down and seen where their money goes. And at one point, I still get a little anxiety when I just have to look at the numbers. Even though I make everything happen every month, and I still can get my seafood boil on Fridays,
right.
But actually seeing the numbers of what you bring in, what's going out, it can be a little anxious, but there's a level of empowerment, a surety, a level of confidence that comes with knowing where every dollar that comes into your household is going. Because if you don't tell your money where to go, it's going to find somewhere to go, right? And most times you ain't going to know where that is. Right. Okay?
Yeah. Well, one of the things, when you talk about culturally centered behavior and actions, right? As Black people, we have to understand our history. Right now, there's a lot of things, a lot of people talk about Black Wall Street, Greenwood, the town of Greenwood in Oklahoma. And they talk about the significance of that town and what it was accomplishing, what those people were accomplishing, and had it destroyed, right? So, but beyond the destruction of that city, because we know how that goes, but we have to understand that that's in our system. And our ancestors and predecessors came out of bondage, and the first things they did was get educated.
Yeah.
Those things that they were denied access to, they started getting access to and sharing that access. I think a lot of our struggle right now is that we're concerned that if we share the information that we have, that somehow it would limit what we're able to do. And so I think that's a fear based on historical experiences and maybe some things that are passed down. But what we like to think of here is it's like a spring, right? You have some people who will find a spring, fresh water, during a time where people want water, and they'll hide the spring and only get water for themselves. You have other people who will get the water, fill it up, and then they hand out the water. Limited distribution. But what we like to do is we're telling them, hey, y'all, come on. There's some water over here. Bring your pitchers, as many as you want. Bring your friends, family, everybody. Come and get this water. Because once you understand how the financial system works, you understand that there's plenty. You understand that there's plenty. The challenge that we have is that we don't understand how it works. And the financial literacy education that we're providing, and if you're not in San Antonio, if you're in other cities, other states, you go to somebody who has on one of these buttons, National Financial Literacy Campaign, they have World System Builders as part of it, or they have the WFG Financial Center in your city. Go to that city, go to that center, and get this free education. It's all free.
How much?
It's free. Absolutely free.
FREE.
The only challenge that we have,
the literacy is free.
You have to open a book, and you have to be willing to read the pages, turn the pages, and then sign on for our free 1-hour workshops.
The information is free, right? The information is free. You get the book. Matter of fact, they give you the book, because when I first moved here, I found it on one of those sites because I was trying to get acclimated to the city, and somebody actually mailed me this book and another book for this financial literacy campaign. Now, I had no idea what it was. I thought it was something else, but the books came in the mail, and I still have those books, right? But what's in the book?
Well,
I know what's in it, but I'm gonna let him.
Yeah, there's a host of information. The thing is that, so I flipped through the pages. There's things about how to understand stocks and bonds, right? So when you're looking at investing, what are you investing in stocks and bonds? Understanding money market accounts, right? Understanding how mutual funds work. All of those things. Understanding how insurance works. Understanding how insurance is funded. Understanding how to invest in insurance. Understand what a 401k is. A lot of people think that the 401k is the designation in the tax code. That's what 401k is. It just talks about that designation in the tax code, and what it is it's an individual retirement account that you can set up pre-tax to save for the future. Now, when you understand that, you also understand that you can't access that money without penalty until you're 59 and a half years old. So when you're looking at planning your financial strategy, where does money locked away till 59 and a half benefit you?
Wow.
Right? You're making decisions around that. Understanding what an emergency fund is. How much should you have in your emergency fund? Some people say you should have 3 to 6 months of expenses. Some people say you should have 3 to 6 months of income. Some people say you should have up to 12 months after COVID. So there's a lot of things. So understanding how you strategically align yourself for achieving your financial goals. If you want to buy a house, what does that look like? How do you, and all of that stuff is in this little 85-page book.
Let me open my book.
And this book, and one of the things we laugh about is that look how big the font is in that book.
You can see it.
Right. And it's full of pictures and diagrams and graphs. So even of the 85 pages, it's really probably closer to 60 pages. And it's a really easy read. It's easy to understand. And I think that it's transformative. This book will transform your life as it relates to your financial understanding. It gives you a basic understanding. We offer 6 free workshops. We offer them online through our national organization. We offer them here in the San Antonio Center, and they offer them in most centers throughout the nation. And that coupled workshop gives you a deeper understanding of the different aspects around savings and budgeting, around cash flow, how to manage your cash flow, understand what investments look like, understanding insurance. There's a host of information that they share in the workshops, and it's all in the effort to help you know what to understand and what questions to ask.
Mr. John,
Yes,
you
ma'am.
make this sound so doable, so easy, and so doable. It's doable.
It's very doable.
So we can this information is accessible.
Yes.
For anybody.
Yes, anybody. It's changing minds, right? Changing minds. When we talk about so one of the things that we share when we do the workshops is that poverty is a condition, right? It's some of it is based on your environment, it's based on your circumstances, but it does not have to. Your mind does not have to be poor.
That's right.
You do not have to have a poverty mindset. And what we try to do is give you education, access to resources, and then you take your tools that you have, or I should say access to tools, and you take your resources, apply the tools, and you take off running. You can hammer a nail in with the heel of a shoe, but it's better to use a hammer.
It's better to use a hammer.
And so we give you the right tools, understanding how to use them, and you apply the tools as needed. And it's really that simple. It's that simple, but you have to be willing to invest the time and the discipline.
Yeah.
Time and discipline.
Yeah.
And you will transform your life.
I don't even know what, I mean, I don't even know what else to say. So we don't have to, get into no clubs. We don't have to get to the elites. We don't have to become Beyonce. None of that. We literally can start here with free education, taking control of our money, taking control of our lives. We can do that.
Yes.
You can do that.
Intentional and deliberate about those things. And one of the things is that as you project down, if you're thinking forward, right? If you're thinking forward, there's right now, but then you want to think down the road so that, again, for us, we talk a lot about generational wealth, right? Mm-hmm. Well, generational wealth starts with decisions that we're making now. And those things will then manifest themselves throughout the way that we manage our life. And it's possible to enjoy your life fully and leave a legacy for your loved ones. Yeah. And you can do both. You can have your brunches in Tennessee and Mississippi.
Because I'm on a brunch tour,
right.
baby.
You can do those things as long as you understand how that fits into your financial plan. Yeah. Because those things make life worth living. Yeah. They make and bring it full circle. That's part of that mental wellness. That's part of recharging yourself, rewarding yourself, and then ultimately affirming that you are achieving your goals. Those are manifestations of it. So when you see your account looking the way that you want to account, when you know that you have things in place to plan for your future, be it retirement, be it other trips, be it your business, whatever it is, and you see that you are making good, sound decisions and it's doing what you want it to do, all of those things are part of that balance and wellness, like what they call work-life balance, right? Yeah. It's all part of that. It's all part of that.
Y'all got any questions? I know it's been good, right? I know it's probably been so good. You trying to write it all down, trying to hear it all, trying to listen to it all. But do you have any money questions? Where what? Do you have any questions, regarding finances, financial literacy? Any questions that Mr. John can? Where I go now? What do you mean? Where do you go now? Where I go now? I don't know what you mean, brother. My brother said, where do I go? So maybe this is what he's asking. So where can people, I know where to access, I know. So where can people access you all? And then where can people go in other cities and communities to access this information for you?
Okay, so you can go to, here in San Antonio, we're located at 300 East Ramsey Road, 78216. We're in the Moab Center. Our office is called the Bear Wealth Solutions Financial Education Center. You can visit us on Facebook, Bear Wealth Solutions. You can look up my page, John Martin, on Facebook. It has a picture of me on it, so you'll be able to distinguish.
Check the flyer.
Check the flyer. And then we can also send it out to folks in the chat and let them know how to access. But we do have a website, Bear Wealth Solutions. Now here in San Antonio, Bear Wealth is Bear is spelled BEXAR, and that's significant in the sense of being in San Antonio, where the Black population here is small, relatively speaking, but to have a word like Bear, it acknowledges the Moors, the Spanish Moors who settled in this area years ago. So I think that was a good connection for an African American centered experience, and in many cases a Black experience, right?
That learned me something.
Right. Well, our consciousness is centered around, first you start at home. You always start at home. And you build your home, you build your foundation in your home, and then you're able to impact the greater community. Yeah. Because once we are collectively strong, among many ways, mentally, right? Yeah. Also economically, right? Also spiritually, and also other areas, then we're able to impact the greater community. And so that's our direction that we're going. And we've joined this, and it's interesting that this campaign that we're a part of it's led by an immigrant community from different Asian, Latin American, and African countries. And so it's good to be a part of that diverse culture and represent Black culture and identity the way that we are.
Listen, there's a way, guys. There's a way for us. There's a way through us. There's a way to us. There's a way. And again, this information is free. And so the wealth clubs usually in libraries, different centers. Can you Google to find like that?
Yes. You go to worldfinancialgroup.com. When you pull up World Financial Group, it will say on there you can locate a center near you.
Okay.
And you enter your information and it will point you in the direction of the center.
So worldfinancialgroup.com, and put your zip code in there so you can find the group that's in your area, so that you can get this free education, get somebody to sit down with you who know what they're talking about, who can help you with your household. Because the thing is, everybody's household is different. You know, it may take $8,000 a month to run one household and $2,000 to run another, and that's why you don't have no business looking in everybody else's window. Take care of your own home first. But I do have a question here. It says, so how would a person start with this if they are already overhead in debt, with the outcome being more than the income? What would be the first step to take to get started?
So we have this method called the debt roll-up, right? And so what we do is we look at your current debt profile and see where you have opportunities. And then once we look at that and we find out what you have access to as far as your money, then we start applying this process to your outstanding debt. Now, if you say you have a negative income to debt ratio, then we look at where you're losing money through your budget. What is your monthly spending like? Where do you have holes, leaks, and otherwise you're losing money? And then we try to tighten up those holes and close those holes first. Set a strategic priority around which bills need your immediate attention. And then there's some other practices that you can use with regard to calling your creditors and having your account frozen so that you can catch up.
Wow.
And then, there's a lot of techniques and strategies that you can use around that. And so we work with you. We have partners who can help you do some of those things. And then we set a plan and strategy. It's all about strategy. And it's intentional, to your point.
How much does service cost?
Free.
F-R-E-E.
It's free. Yeah, it's free. And people, in our community, you have to, okay, well, why is it free? So
what's the catch?
So what we do is we understand that we're in a business, in a financial industry where people don't know the value of it. Everyone talks about the stock market and why it's a good place to invest and all those things. A lot of people don't understand the value of insurance. They don't understand how insurance is part of a strategy, and how that you ultimately work your way out of needing insurance, and the tools in insurance can help you. We can't even have that conversation until you understand money, and we can't help you understand the value of it until you understand how money works. We can't have that conversation. And what we're finding is that our community is at a deficit as it relates to financial understanding, because we don't sit at the table with our kids and do bills. We don't balance checkbooks. People don't balance checkbooks anymore anyway. But there's a lot of things that we don't talk about when it relates to money. This is true facts. The people in our community that have money are guarded oftentimes because they have so many people around them who need it. They feel bad if they're not sharing it in the way that people need it. We don't want people to know because we don't want people to ask us for stuff. So we don't have a chance to transfer that knowledge and information onto our family and friends. So we just do it for you. Direct them to us and we will help you do that.
See, you don't have to do any of this by yourself. And I told you, we're in this together. We do these things together. There are resources in your community. There are resources worldwide that support you. This program, again, is F-R-E-E. Financial literacy is free, right? And if you're one of the ones who struggle, again, with understanding money, knowing where it goes. And so, to the question that was asked and the way you answered it, I even felt more confident in that, because sometimes when you're looking at your bills, like I said, when you're looking at it, you don't see no way out. Like it's always tight. But then somebody comes in with a new eye, a clear eye, and a strategic eye, and say, well, here's the hole here, here's the thing there. You're like, oh, I didn't even see that. I didn't even think about that. And so we have to do these things together. And I know culturally it has been difficult to trust others and each other.
And the exposure. So I'll be transparent is the buzzword of the day. So I haven't watched TV in 2 years.
What?
I haven't watched TV in 2 years. So, but because
worse than me.
because I have my cable subscription paid for automatically, it's automatic draft. I never even paid attention to it. It paid automatically every month. And so what happened was the credit card that I was using to pay that bill, they gave me a new card with a new number. So I got a notice from the cable company that, hey, you owe us for 2 months. And when I looked at the bill, I was like, what indeed? I was like, okay, this is out of hand.
Right.
So when I went in, and so I had all the bells and whistles. But what was important about my cable bill was I had my internet and my house phone on that. That's why it was just part of the package.
Yeah.
When I went in and I canceled cable because I haven't watched TV in 2 years. I have Netflix, I have Prime, I have Hulu, I have Disney, all that. I don't need cable.
True.
And so when I canceled the cable, my bill went from $325 to $107.
Wow.
But the wow is that yes, I caught it, but that's 2 years after. That's $6,600 wasted on that. And so it's that kind of thing. I did a class here a couple of weeks ago. I like Diet Dr. Pepper. That's my favorite drink. But when we talked about budgeting and how to manage money in the class, I made a commitment to the students that I was going to stop buying Dr. Pepper for a year. It cost me $35 a week to drink Dr. Pepper.
Wow.
So that once we did the assessment, because when you go to the corner store, you buy 2 for $4.
Mm-hmm.
I always buy 2, and I would buy the little mini cans from the store, and it came out to about $35 a week on Diet Dr. Pepper. And so I'm taking that money and I'm redirecting it, because that's how you find savings in your budget. That's how you find savings in your budget. And so that's what we're doing. And that's what anybody can do. When we look at your budget, we're doing the same thing. Where do you have gaps? Where do you have leaks? Where do you have holes? And I do this, I've been doing this every day for 2 years, and I still was not aware of that leak.
Yeah.
I was not aware of the leak because I wasn't paying attention. And so what I do now is I go through my budget and my spending every month as recommended.
Mm-hmm.
I also am stopping all these automatic payments, because automatic payments desensitizes you to how your money is moving. I use credit cards. You pay off the balance at the end of the month, so interest doesn't impact you. Right? So when you're doing that, that builds credit, builds score, and all those different things. But it softens your discipline around managing your money.
Makes you pay attention.
I do this every day. And so it's not a matter of whether or not you know. It's not a matter of what. It's just having the information and applying it.
Yeah. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Having information and applying. Y'all, I don't know about y'all, but I feel like I'm in class already. Like, this is good stuff. And again, I'm in the Dave Ramsey Financial Peace
Mm-hmm.
University, and you know how he feel about credit cards.
Mm-hmm.
And I got one. I was like, okay, Dave, I hear you, but I'm gonna keep that one.
Mm-hmm.
Because my daddy said you gotta have at least one for emergencies and stuff. But just knowing when you have the knowledge and you apply the knowledge. Because at first, again, the budget used to make me nervous. It made me feel like I was gonna miss out.
Yeah.
Because sometimes a lot of people feel like they'll miss out if they got to budget their money.
Mm-hmm.
But then if you add into the budget the things that you like, the things that you enjoy, then you don't have to feel like you're depriving yourself, and you're being honest with yourself, and you're being fair with your money.
Right.
So education is key, but putting education to use is what's going to change and impact your life.
Right.
30 by 30 financial literacy program. WorldFinancialGroup.com.
Yes.
WorldFinancialGroup.com. Put in your zip code, and you will find a program in your area that these experts can sit down and talk with you and help you find the holes in your budget. It could be Diet Dr. Pepper.
Mm-hmm.
It could be RC, y'all Mississippians. It could be that RC you gotta have every day.
Yeah.
Okay? And we think it's always no big deal, it's just $1, it's just $2. But if you do that every day, you're spending $35, $40 a week on just a drink that's now causing diabetes, gaining weight, anxiety, all kinds of things. So now you're adding to a medical bill.
Right.
And it's just, again, the goal here, financial literacy, just be aware.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? All things are connected. And y'all know how we are about mental health. It all comes back full circle. If your mind ain't right, your money ain't right, your mind ain't right. And a lot of times people will emotionally eat when their money ain't right, or, they're going through some things. So all these things are connected. You don't have to do that anymore. We don't have to do that anymore. This is one of many amazing resources out here in the community. But this one for sure is how much?
Free.
FREE. This one is free. So go worldfinancialgroup.com. If you're in San Antonio, Texas, come by the Moed Center. What's the hours of operation?
We're here from 9 to 4.
9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Monday through Friday.
Monday
and Saturday.
through Friday and Saturday.
Here
right?
from 9 till 2.
If you work during the week, you can come on Saturday.
Okay.
And find out.
And my team member put the information in the comments.
Oh, she was there. So there's it ain't came up for me yet. So and any information that's connected to this, you'll see in the comments. So come back and check the comments for the links to this information. Any other questions? If you have questions, go ahead and put them in the comment section so we can address those questions now. But Mr. John, is there anything else that you want to tell the good people? Because you listen, he done preached to us. He done taught us. I really should be taking up a collection. Y'all should be hitting the Cash App, okay? You should be hitting the Cash App, but I'm gonna let y'all slide today. But you can send stars, right? Is there anything else that you want to share with us?
Yeah. Well, I think the biggest thing is that don't be afraid, don't be embarrassed, and don't blame yourself or anyone else for not knowing.
Yeah.
Now, after tonight, if you don't do anything, then you're to blame. But prior to tonight, you have had the opportunity to hit this. And I share something with you guys. So 2 years ago, my wife passed away, and when she passed away, our attitude around insurance was, you need enough to bury you, right? Mm-hmm. And it's okay, cool. We had that in place, and I started looking for insurance for myself, more insurance, so that because as my kids' surviving parent, I wanted to make sure if something happened to me, they would be taken care of. And so, but once I started looking for insurance, I had a friend of mine who said, "Hey, I sell insurance." I was like, "What?" And I remember she goes, "What you want, $500,000?" I said, "I ain't trying to make them rich." But what I didn't know was that was the wrong mindset.
Yeah.
And what I learned through that process was how to prepare for someone passing away soon. Mm. And then on the back end of that, how to prepare for a long, prosperous life. And once that unlocked for me, I wanted to become a champion, because what happened before that, I had good friends who were in the financial professions who actually sold insurance. None of them talked to me about it. And I think that there are barriers on both sides. Thinking your friends know and they don't know. Yeah. And your friends thinking they know and not know. So they don't know what to ask. They don't know any of those questions. So what we're trying to do is unlock that part. Wow. We're trying to pull back the onion on that and give you a space to be vulnerable, to be open to new information, and to challenge the things that you think you already know, so that there's a possibility for you to learn something that you didn't. And then from there, you do what you want with the information. Right. You do what you want with it. But I guarantee you, what we'll do is if they send you an email, their email address, and allow us to email them, we will send them a free copy of this book, and I guarantee you, your life will not be the same after you read this book. It will not be the same.
Y'all. It's free.
It will not be the same.
Get the book. I know you read. I know y'all like to read, because y'all be reading Facebook comments, and some of them in Facebook profiles, all that stuff, and some of it be total books. And if it is, I'll skip it. But get the book. It's free. So, like he said, if you want the book, go ahead and reach out to me in the inbox.
Yeah.
And I will give me your email address, and I will forward that over, and they will get you the information that you need. Get the book.
And my team member Jackie just said that the QR code is in the comments.
The QR code is in the comments, right?
Yeah, once you get that, and just understand that when you share your contact information with you, we don't harass and bother people. We just want to send you a book and links to the workshop.
Yeah, they ain't gonna be stalking you.
Yeah, we're not gonna do that. Well, we are your people, and we understand how we are about that intrusive type of experience. So we don't do that. Yeah. And so you give us that contact information. We're going to send you a book, send you links to 6 free workshops, and then we might on occasion send you an email about a recipe, because we like to send our clients and our partners different uplifting information. We want you to keep us front of mind in the event you have a question or you have a need. But we're not going to harass you and call you all the time trying to get you to do business with us. We just want you to have the information.
How much is this program?
Free.
I just FREE, y'all. You gonna get a book and a recipe right? You can get recipes, uplifting word. Y'all heard what he said from the very beginning. So if anybody has struggled with tithing, it's a personal matter. We ain't here to talk about that. But the way he explained it, I desire to be a large giver.
Yeah.
I want to go up there on Sundays and be like, bam, pastor,
yeah.
serve somebody. You know what I'm saying? That's one of my goals. But listen, if we don't make it to paying the tithes in the church that way, take care of your house first. Start at home first. Look for the holes, right? The snacks you like to buy, the clothes you like to buy. These little, I know, we got these little websites now. Shein and Temu and Fashion Nova. Like, listen, I'm here for being cute. I am. And it's like, it's like $5, it's $7. It's just like going to Dollar Tree, the $1.25 tree.
Right.
You like, it's $1, it's $1, it's $1. You get to the counter and your total at Dollar Tree is $55.12. Don't ask me how I know.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't ask me how I know.
You don't have to tell us.
But it adds up, y'all. We just encourage you all to be more intentional about the spending. Be more strategic in the plans that you have for your life now and you have for your life later. All right. If y'all don't have any more questions, I don't know about y'all, but this has been a good Mental Health Monday for me. I needed this. Yesterday was rough. So today has been good for me. I told you were an expert. Did you hear him? Did you hear how it all came out? How he was just teaching the people, just letting it flow. Let the Lord use you. Yeah. I appreciate that, Mr. John.
Yeah, we're on a mission.
You let the Lord use you tonight.
Yeah, we're on a mission. And I think the biggest thing about us at this particular center is that we understand our culture. This information and this resource is available to anybody, but we understand our cultural significance as it relates to this and how to communicate within our culture. Everybody needs someone to translate it into their language, right? So we're telling you that we have information on how to speak money in the capitalism system, but we're also going to translate it into the language of our people so that we understand, safe word, how do you know this?
Yeah.
And we can talk to you about how do we know, because we're taking the time to learn. And we're bringing our people to the water. And so by teaching you how to do it, by teaching you to fish, you will feed your family into perpetuity.
Come on,
and that's what we're doing. Is we are very culturally conscious and very culturally and sensitive to the way our people receive information. And I don't want to be insulting or presumptuous to anyone, but we all know what that is.
Yeah.
Because those of us who don't have access, we question why you're giving us access and how you know what you know.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you that here at this center, and I have colleagues across the nation who are also capable of doing this, we can change the lives of the people in our community if they give us an opportunity.
Y'all.
Give us an opportunity.
Give them the opportunity by giving yourself the opportunity. The door is open. The inbox is open. The QR code is in the comments. Go ahead and scan that QR code. Get your book, right? Read that book. It's for your own well-being. Like, be strategic and intentional about that. Just learning, changing your mindset. You may not be the one to see the money right now, but imagine if you learn it and teach your grandchildren. Imagine if you learn it and teach your nieces and nephews. And so when you have transitioned on to the next phase, your spirit ain't got to be worried about what's going on with your kids, because you taught them what they need to know. Right. That's generational wealth.
That is generational.
That's how we pass things down. Mr. John, I appreciate you.
Well, no, thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for the work that you're doing. I think that that in our community, mental health and things around our emotional wellness are oftentimes not shared because it's demanded of us because of our faith oftentimes that we lean on the Lord. But we don't look at people like you who do this work and other professionals who do this work. Those are all provisions.
Yeah.
We all of this information, all of these resources, all these tools, they're all provisions. Yeah. God didn't say how he would provide them, but we know that he insists that we interact with each other because that is evidence of him. He and us is what connects and guides our pathway through this world. And so once we recognize that through your work and the work of many other people, then I think we'll be stronger and build that trust in. Yeah.
Pay your offering. Pay your offering.
Yeah. Because
this is a word, okay?
Yeah.
Thank you. I absolutely appreciate it. To God be the glory for the work that I do.
Yeah.
I knew I've always wanted to serve in this space. I just didn't know how it would look,
Yeah.
but this has been by far one of the greatest tasks that I've had, other
Yeah.
than being a mother.
Yeah.
And now a Grammy.
Yeah.
You know, so I appreciate, again, the work that you do. Listen, if you're in San Antonio, Texas, get to the Moed Center Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and even on Saturdays. Listen, get the free book. If you're in another area, get the free book. The QR code is in the comments. He's attached to the flyers that I've made. He's tagged in there. Connect to him as a friend. You know, you might have to come out to San Antonio. You never know. Come out here for a visit, but it's here, y'all. It's free. We don't have to be ignorant anymore. We don't have to perish, you know, in our finances, in our mental and emotional health because of lack of knowledge. It's here and it's free. Campaign for yourself and do it for your family. That is Mental Health Monday. Listen, I don't even have to like close him out. You know, we just, because we're live, guys. Look at how things are growing. We're live in the studio. We're in the studio, Mr. Jones.
Okay, that's where we're at.
We're live in the studio. So again, thank y'all for those that tune in and continue to check into the Lightroom every scheduled Monday, because we're no longer every Monday, but every scheduled Monday. I absolutely appreciate it. I don't take this lightly. To everybody that's been a guest in the Lightroom, I appreciate you and the work that you do. All right. Talk to y'all later.
Thank you.
That'll do it.